Though I may, though I may, though I may suffer, I'll envy it not and endure what comes, 'cause I'm all that I've got.
I am a woman on a journey, a physical one and a spiritual one. Currently, of course, in the UK. I have been traveling the world, literally, for around 16 months, and I'm back here at my origins, I suppose, in a sense, in the West Midlands. And I'm a poet, spoken word artist who uses word, sound and power to tell her story.
Yeah, well, I like that already. So we've just heard a poem from you, and it's called Tell Her.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us something about that and why it was written and so on.
You know something, the poems, they just come to me, and often I can't even explain where from. But the interesting thing about this particular piece, it was written in 2016.
Okay.
I was writing it, of course, to myself. I'm not sure if anyone would have picked up on that. And at the time, everything I was writing made sense to me. But then when I thought I'd lost the piece.
Okay.
And then this year, when I was in Australia, I was going through a certain situation, because Australia is not an easy place to survive. In a way, it's just, it's another kind of Babylon. So I found the piece again at the most poignant time when I needed to be reminded of everything that I had told myself initially in that piece, and it shifted my own energy, and I was able to push through my circumstances at that particular time. So it's almost like I left a message in a bottle for myself and found it,
Okay, it's like a treasure chest.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you spoke a little bit there about going on a journey. So we all go through a life journey. But what made you go on a travelling experience, I suppose?
Okay, so there's many reasons really that have transpired, since I actually embarked on the journey. But what I really want to say is I also believe it's ancestral.
Yeah.
And it goes deeper than just myself. I mean, my own family, we are a combination of many different places. Me and my great-grandfather came from China to Jamaica. And there is a history in my own lineage where people seek out new lands for various reasons. So I think it's in my DNA. I think it's that serious and it's that deep. And also, I just believe, I say to people often, if you lived in a mansion, would you spend your life in your bedroom?
Yeah.
And for me, the answer to that is no. And we're in a position where we are not necessarily restricted by borders in the way that we have been as a people in the past. So I just take full advantage of that red book,
Yeah, why not? So since we're talking about it, it wasn't a question, but what are you thinking about this Brexit thing then? Because
you see, Brexit, I mean, before I went, me and my friends, because I'm actually not doing the full journey solo, my sister from uni, been friends for a long time, we've been doing the majority of the travel together.
Yeah.
And we put up on social media a post, and it basically said, no matter what the decision is, we're still making our trod.
Yeah.
So when it comes to politics and all them kind of movements, I really don't feel that we, as where I'm at in my life and the community maybe that I'm a part of, I don't feel like I have, any kind of decision power. So we just have to roll with it anyway and know our own internal power. So regardless of the decisions that are being made, quote unquote for us, we still have to just, go on through.
Yeah. So I'm going to say how it is, but with your poetry you have a gift. And I just want to know how you embarked on that gift. Was it that you were good with words? How did it come about in your mind?
Oh gosh, I was speaking to my mum earlier today. She was like, when you go on the radio, make sure you tell people that you could speak a lot earlier than you were supposed to speak.
Oh, okay.
I'm just one of them people that likes to use their words. And I can remember being when I first moved to Birmingham, I was around 6-7 years old.
Yeah.
And there was I think you call him a teaching assistant at the time. And I brought a poem to him at that age, telling him some personal things. And I think from that moment on, that was the first time that my voice was truly heard.
Okay.
I felt like that gave me a space to exist in a different way. And I've just carried that forward, deep into my adulthood. And I would like to make kind of a mention to a situation within the school.
Yeah.
Once, years later, I was around 14, and we were asked if anyone wanted to contribute to a newsletter. And I wrote this piece. I still have it somewhere, probably in my mum's attic, right?
Yeah.
The piece is basically talking about how we as a people are undervalued. And I'm only 13, 14.
Okay.
I remember printing it out with all this pride in my belly, bringing it in the next day. The words they're written over a picture of Bob Marley.
Mm.
And I was pulled out of my class the same day, I believe, by a lady I've never interacted with before. And she pulled me aside, and you know what she said to me?
What?
She said, we cannot use this piece because you didn't write it.
What?
So I have to do, it's not even a case of burning a fire on anything, but I just want people to know that you must know your power and your truth, no matter what it is. People can even perceive that it's not your gift, it's not your talent, but don't be disheartened because I'm continuing to, use my voice right now. So yeah.
Yeah. Wow. What a story. What a story there. So, when you were traveling, did you manage to perform or do any of your poetry while you were traveling?
Okay, so on this particular journey, the original plan was, I'm going to see the world, do all these things, and everywhere I go, I'll write and I'll perform and I'll collaborate with people in these different environments, but not in the gossip. Basically, I was engrossed in living life and, processing and developing who I am internally until I didn't even expect this, but until I got to Melbourne, Australia, and the spoken word scene there is big.
Okay.
It's, the vibe there is just popping really, and the opportunities are coming thick and fast, so, we give thanks. The thing is, I was going to events just to, take in some spoken word. One time, the microphone literally just swung from the stage into my face.
Wow.
Serious. So that day I said, you know what, I will put my name down for open mic and I will share something, and then from there the opportunities, like I said, they've just been coming.
Wow. So you're obviously destined for it. You're destined.
I believe so now. I accept it, yeah.
Yeah. So what places did you go to? Because I know you went on a big journey for a lot of months. So where did you visit?
Okay, so I left in July 2017, so it's about 16 months now, I believe. First stop was Ethiopia. It was a must, Africa awaits, and I spent time in Addis Ababa and predominantly in Shashamane. Moved on from Ethiopia to Ghana. I was there for around a month. Then I went to South Africa and Swaziland, which is landlocked by South Africa. And then from there, I ended up in Thailand, where I actually stayed for around 5 months.
Okay.
Sorry guys, this is a long list. So from Thailand, I popped over to Malaysia while I was over on that side. I also visited Bali and Burma for literally half an hour, but I still reached. And then moving on from there, I went over to Australia, and then on my way back to the UK, I spent some time in the Philippines.
Okay. Wow, what a list. So let's start with Ethiopia, I guess, which is the beginning of your list. What was that like?
Well, those who know, Africa is not the images that we see predominantly in the media, so until you really go, then you will know. But so Ethiopia is a place with a lot of history, a lot of culture, a lot of foundation for different ideas and belief systems. So it was really important for me to really put my feet on that ground and experience that space. Being in Shashamane really just reminded me of being in Jamaica. Many different things in terms of the cuisine that I could get, and the people them just come from the States, they come from Europe, they come from the Caribbean. I got to learn about so much different stories. It was a powerful space to be in.
Did it live up to your expectation, or did it surpass your expectation?
Something, as a person who has throughout my life had a lot of interest in the works of Haile Selassie and the movement of Rastafari people, I don't want to dishearten anyone, but the music, especially what I've been listening to all my life, is telling me that this place is Zion. For me, it was not everyone's Zion. I can say that I saw people that have come from the Western world who are struggling in that space. I feel there are a lot of, you know, elder Rastas putting in the work. The young people are not necessarily there doing what, you know, it is thought that they should be doing. There is, yeah, I don't really want to make people feel like they shouldn't go themselves. If it's in your heart to reach the place, then reach the place. There is a lot of beauty to be experienced and found in that environment, for sure.
Okay. And so tell us a little something about what it is that you did up there. Did you, you know, what places did you visit in particular, or did you just go and do whatever you felt was necessary, sort of thing?
You see how I travel? People might get scared about this, but I just book one night.
Okay.
Even if I'm going somewhere for a month, I just book one night, and then I just pretty much just go with the feeling. So the first place I was in Addis Ababa, up in the mountains, kind of. It's high up. And a sister of mine in London told me that Protege is, you know, he's in the city the same day I land.
Okay.
All right? And
bit of luck there, eh?
Exactly. I didn't really know how to, you know, get to this venue and whatnot, but we made the journey. They have different kind of transport there, but, you know, we found it, and then we just make a link with the people on the door, and then we just got to experience, and it was a different kind of energy. Of course, when somebody like Protege comes to Addis, then it's going to be a vibe, and it was nothing more than synchronicity to be in that place at that time.
Wow, okay. And then you went to, what was the next place? Ghana, did you say?
Yes,
Ethiopia.
Ghana.
And how was that?
Ghana is beautiful. The best mangoes I have eaten in my life.
Is that all you got from it? The mangoes?
You know what? It was great, because if you're gonna go to Africa, you need to, you know, make sure you have time, because there's plenty to experience. So you got the nature, the amount of waterfalls. You know, we got to do country, we got to do city. I actually was in an orphanage for around 2 weeks, volunteering there with the children. And those type of experience for me, the highlight.
Okay, and were there any experiences for you where you can say, wow, like, kind of bring it back home, sort of thing, if that makes sense? So what you've learnt out there, you can transfer it to here, or not yet?
Boy, everything.
Everything.
Yes, you have to. You know, one of the very important things for me is my identity. Okay, so who I am, and understanding that no matter what physical space I'm in, I must know my truth and hold that truth. Whether I'm in a paradise, you know, some people might refer to the UK as a Babylon. You know, it's cold. We have this problem. We have that problem. But if you have internal problems, they're gonna follow you no matter where you trod as an individual, and you have a purpose and you have a mission, and you must perform that even if you're in that kind of environment. You know, you can't let your connection to source slip.
Definitely. So, and then when you were in Ghana, did you see similarities to Ethiopia, differences?
You know what? Red, gold and green everywhere.
Woo! Yes, what I'm saying.
You know, the Jamaican culture, you know, Bob Marley, Rasta. I've seen it all over the world, even not on this trip. I've been in Marrakesh, Morocco, in a taxi, and I can hear reggae music, and I tell the driver, stop. And I go follow the sound. I find one red, gold and green restaurant, and everything's Ito food, fresh juices. They were playing Chronic. So we as a people are powerful, you know, and that movement there is a global thing, and we must respect that, and, you know, use the fruit from it to go forward.
Okay, you know, it's really powerful what you're saying, but I've heard a lot of people, well, from Coventry in particular, say, well, Africans don't like Jamaicans. But what you've just said is, like, that's not true. So what do you think about that? And vice versa, Jamaicans don't like Africans, Africans don't like Jamaicans, blah, blah, blah. What do you think, or why do you think that is being portrayed or seen as?
It's interesting. I was reading on this recently, because I think in this space, the Jamaican culture or Caribbean is dominant, you know, in the Midlands and other areas above London. Okay. When you get down there, I believe it's a little bit different from my personal experience. But I know that's a surface level thing, because when you get deeper, you know that the roots is the same situation, you know. And a book I read recently, Akala, Natives. If anyone's interested in this topic, when you want to look at these different separations that we have going on, even the ideas of what whiteness is, what blackness is. If you really want to get deep on that, I would just recommend to pick up that book.
Yes, I'm reading that.
Yes,
definitely. And then from Ghana, where did you say you went to?
South Africa.
And how was that experience? Because we have a friend from South Africa on the Family Fun Day. Big up Tanya every time. So, what was that experience like?
Why, you know something, since I was young, I wanted to reach South Africa. I've been interested in the culture, the resistance, the movement, and the power of the people there. Serafina is one of my favourite films, if you know that one. I even studied it at university, the theatre over there, all kind of things. So I was really excited to be there. The plan was to do a month.
Okay.
I'm going to drop something on you now, you know, Kat.
Okay, drop it.
So, on the way back from Swaziland to South Africa on public transport on a bus,
yeah,
I was actually hijacked at gunpoint.
Wow.
So it cut my trip short. I can talk it now without having too much emotion, but at the time, I really thought my life was going to be over.
Wow.
You know, so I give thanks that I was able to come through that just with a black eye, and some of my things were taken from me. But you know something? It was a fruitful experience at the same time. I just give people the reason on that, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So what happened to me was, and I want to go into the ins and outs of that. Like I say, I'm safe. Me and my friend, we've come out of that alive. So we give thanks. I was not myself after that. I lost my confidence. I was feeling kind of paranoid because of the danger that I experienced. And what that did to me was say, you know something, Buki, who you are. Because there's me travelling thinking that if I travel, I can find myself. Yeah. But because I lost who I was at that time through that experience, I realised that I always had myself. I just needed to appreciate myself. Yeah. So, does that make sense?
It does make sense, yeah, definitely.
Because I felt like me had gone. Because of course, I'm a poet. Yeah. I go on stages and I tell people my private things, you know. I'm vulnerable and I open up. And so the next day after this happened, or 2 days after, I went to a comedy show underneath the apartment that I was renting there, and I wasn't even comfortable in the audience. People talking because they have the same accent as the people who, you know, committed the incident and everything. I wasn't comfortable. Okay. So I remember being like, I have lost me now. My confidence is gone. How am I going to ever be on a stage again? Because right now I'm not comfortable in an audience. So then I had to just look in myself and just find myself again. So, you know, I pulled through. Nobody take it as, you know, you shouldn't go to South Africa, because the wickedest thing is I'm going back. Okay. I'm going back and I'm going to have my experience, and it's not something that we must look at and just say, you know what, South Africa is dangerous. You shouldn't go there. Don't take that from it, because that was just something that I believe I just had to experience. Yeah.
Wow. So how? Wow. that is quite intense, to be fair. So, what did you do? I suppose is the question. What did you do afterwards, during? Like, what did you do?
You know something? Real talk, I just wanted my mum.
Yeah. Mummy.
Exactly. I just wanted my mum, and I just wanted to be out of there. And I was just so, you know, adamant. I wanted because they actually took a bag which had my passport in it. Okay. And that's when me, little warrior S, I jump up out my seat. I come over the seats and I step to the man and I said, I'll need my passport. Because in my mind, I just wanted to get home, safe to my family. Yeah. At that point, I don't care if he took my phone, because they even took the trainers off my feet, you know. Okay. Take my physical possessions, just met me out of my life. I need to go back to my mum in one piece. So during, I'm not going to say I was calm. I'm not going to tell you I was calm, because I wasn't. I was scared for my life. These people had guns. They had ropes. Okay. You know? But it's just things unseen that allowed me to get through that, you know? And I just give thanks up until this day. A year has passed since then already. So it's just an experience. It's just a memory. And after, the story is long, Kat, so maybe I can tell you the full details another time. Yeah. But afterwards, that's one thing about travel, you know, you can't expect the same treatment, the same institutions to be on your side that you may have at home, because everywhere you go it's a different setup. Yeah, even if an environment looks similar, like Australia looks similar to the UK, but it's not the UK. So you have to remember that when you move in. So even the police there maybe don't have the same protocols. Calling the police requires credit on a phone.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay.
You couldn't get through. All them type of things, the police don't know if they're going to come for you or not.
Okay.
They don't have the resources.
Mm.
Just say, if anyone thinking of doing anything like this, just go with an open mind on every level.
Yeah. Wow. And then where did you go after that one?
After South Africa, the plan was to do India, but you know, me and my friend did reason that we couldn't go to a hectic environment like that because of what was going on in our minds, that it would have been too much. So we cut that part short and went straight to Thailand.
Okay.
Yeah, because I have family there, I've been there before, I know it's safe, I know it's a peaceful place. Yeah?
Okay. And how was that?
That was an interesting experience. It was supposed to be a month and I was there for 5.
Wow.
So
It definitely called you, didn't it?
Exactly.
And what did you do there, I suppose?
What was I doing? So I actually ended up helping out in a family business
Okay.
for 3 of the months that I was there, which, you know, needs must. Give thanks for all experiences. And then once that came to an end, I took myself alone because I was on my own at this point. My friend had continued to our next stop. I went to Bangkok and Chiang Mai. I did some traveling, solo travel there. Chiang Mai is an amazing place for me personally. There are a lot of people doing their own entrepreneurial things there.
Okay.
So if anyone's interested in traveling and you have any kind of skills that you can use online,
So,
that is,
as you've
it's full
said,
of people.
let's lighten it up a bit.
Please.
So, tell us what's going on in your music life, poetry life. What's happening?
Okay, so about 2 mornings ago, went to the studio about 4 a.m, created a new track, and really what I'm trying to do going forward is release my first EP next year. So it's going to be produced by people from different places, and what I want to do is put some dub poetry on there as well, so you know, stay tuned for some of that in the future, and really just be even more strong with my vulnerability and continue to talk my truth. Yeah.
Okay. So, when you say dub poetry, people might not know what that is. Explain what dub poetry is to the people out there.
Really and truly, it's just the essence of using word, sound and power with more of a organic kind of drum sound, you know. And I grew up listening to them kind of things, so it's only natural. I think even the travelling now make me just have more pride in the patois. Because sometimes I'm not even really talking patois and people will say to me, you sound Jamaican.
Okay.
Because we have a rhythm. When you come from a space like Birmingham, you have a rhythm in how you speak. And people, maybe because I have Natty on top of my head, okay, people might be thinking Rasta, Jamaica and all them things. But I feel going back to even the way we use language, we must own our language and don't feel shame. You know, I spoke about that in the first piece that we played there. You know, many tongues were ripped from our ancestors' heads, and we must speak life in our own languages.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be dropping more of that kind of sound going forward. And on the EP, I want to be kind of sampling, introducing some of the sounds that I've been raised on as well. Okay.
So, who's inspiring you at the minute then? Either with music, poetry-wise?
You know what? Is it people? Is it spaces? Is it more experiences that's inspiring me? This is arrogant, but it's me and my journey.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm involved in me and my journey because I believe that we must know ourselves so that we can give ourselves and give our best selves to others.
Yeah.
And then sometimes that can ignite a spark or be a catalyst for others to then be their best self. So, but in terms of poets, Ebony Stewart from the States, she's big. She came over recently too, because I'm telling you, the scene there in Melbourne, Australia, spoken word, is, you know, it's a big scene. She's the first poet that I've ever been to a gig and cried.
Okay.
You know, so she touched me. So I'm just gonna say Ebony Stewart for now.
Okay. Why did she touch you in particular?
You know something, it's probably not easy as a poet to make another poet, even because this is what we do. So it's very emotive, you know, the work that we do in as spoken word artists sometimes. But because it's just like breathing to many of us, it's just natural. So I think it can't really penetrate so easily. But with her, probably at the time, one of the pieces that she did was, touching my circumstance and something that it just triggered it. Sometimes it can do that.
Yeah.
And the powerful thing for me as a spoken word artist is when I'm performing and people speak to me afterwards and they tell me how it's affected them. I get people coming over, they've been crying or they are crying at that time, and it's not to say I don't feel it's genuine, but now because I've been on the other side of it, I can really appreciate that that's what the words can do to people. And it's empowered me to go forward and be even more real again.
Yeah, definitely. So what would you say to young people who want to either get involved in music or poetry? What would you say to them to either do or have to start that?
Well, Marcus Garvey did say that without confidence we are twice defeated in the race of life, and I really and truly believe that one there, because even me now, I'm not saying I'm the best and I'm the most known by no means, but the positions that I've been able to put myself in now, I wouldn't have been able to do that previously, not because the gift isn't there, because the gift is there. Your gift is always there, but it's because you're not there, you're not ready in your belief system that you have with yourself.
Definitely.
So you must just start, because sometimes it just start somewhere, and don't feel as if, even if you're looking at poetry, don't feel you need any kind of particular ability with spelling, grammar, because I don't.
Yeah.
I just do it, and it makes sense to people sometimes,
And I suppose I kind of know the answer to this, but I'll say it anyway. What is your message that you're trying to deliver to the people out there? Either music-wise, poetry. What are you trying to deliver?
Just the truth as I see it, because when we do that, like I say, it empowers others to know, and not just know, but live out that truth. Live out your full potential. Don't sleep on yourself.
Yeah, man. So, I suppose we go to your events. So I know you've got some performances and you're doing an event coming up. Tell us something about that.
Okay, so the first thing is happening tomorrow. That's a bit of a challenge for me, which, I welcome a challenge. That one is actually for children.
Okay,
so I've been asked to write a piece for children as the main audience, and this is for the book launch of Knowing About Marcus Mosiah Garvey and the UNIA, and that is at 6 p.m. tomorrow, Thursday, at Harper Bell School.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk to the youth about Marcus Garvey there and see how that one goes. It's going to be interesting. There'll be stalls, so you can come along to that. If you're available, you should do so.
Okay, is it a free event?
No, it isn't. However, I do believe that children under 16 are free, and adults would just be £2, and also that goes to the cost of a book.
Oh, okay.
So it's a win-win situation,
Oh, okay. We like win-wins. And what's your next one?
So the next one now, this is my thing. This is Daughter of the Sun, which is my little, I'm even going to say little, I'm not going to downplay the thing. You have to be careful with the words that we use. So let me rephrase. Daughter of the Sun is my initiative that I started back in Portmore, Jamaica, where I did some self-love workshops for young women there, using poetry as a tool of empowerment. And it launched in Birmingham after that, before I went on my travels, and now I've returned after, it's not even the 16 months because it's longer than that, about 2 years, to basically deliver some Daughter of the Sun service to the people.
Okay.
And this event is actually a tool of empowering us as a community, women in the community. We've got some amazing guest speakers who are entrepreneurs, they're award-winning authors, they're women with specialist knowledge, and they're all going to tell their story of how they've actualized their own greatness.
Okay.
So if you're looking for some inspiration, you want to be part of the Sister Circle, we've got a Caribbean lunch, we've got a live performer, not myself because it's a little bit much doing all of that and performing. So the important thing for me is, I mentioned that the first place I went to was Ethiopia. While I was in Ethiopia, I volunteered in Yowenta Children's Centre in Sashomani. So all the proceeds are going directly, there's no middleman, it's going directly to the children. The children there You know, they need the education, they need the medical expenses, all them kind of things. So the little that we can contribute, we're going to come together as a community and support that. So if you are wanting some inspiration and wanting to connect with your sisters, you can attend on Sunday the 28th of October from 12 till 5, and this is to be held at Sick Be Nourished on Broad Street. So you can look for the tickets on shops.
Okay. And how much are the tickets?
So, okay, this is a little bit of an exclusive. So normally the tickets are £20 per person. This includes all of that inspiration that I have mentioned, and then your lunch. But we are now going to go forward and do a My Sister's Keeper ticket. So in that ticket you can get entry for 2 people for, well, I'm doing that now for £30. So you're saving. For 2 people you would just pay £30, and trust me, you will leave with something that you didn't have before you came.
Okay, so you heard it here first, people. So I suppose, you know what, it's a big story at the minute, and I wanted to get your opinions on it, which is about Spice.
Oh gosh.
I have to get your opinions on it, because what do you think, first of all?
You know what, props to Spice. For me, I'm a light-skinned person, yeah, if you don't know what I look like. So let me just give the context. And I understand that on both sides of the coin, there are certain stereotypes and certain struggles which come from being in the shell that we're in, where we have dark skin, where we have light skin, yeah? But colorism is not just in Jamaica. I've seen it on a global level. I've seen it in Asia. I've seen it in Africa. There is a lot of self-hatred, and she's shone a light on it. Even if people want to say people are exploiting a situation X, Y, Z, but it starts conversation.
Okay.
It's up to us to have the correct conversation, yeah? And I have nothing against the medium that she's chosen, you know, to start that conversation. I knew it was a joke from I saw the image, to be honest.
I seen it on your page. I thought, book it. She knew, man. As soon as I seen it, I was like, she knew, innit? Like, straight away, you were like, good, what was it? Good marketing or something like that.
That's what I studied at university. So when I see them things, you know, have to respect them strategies, because from, you look at her back catalogue of music, she's talking real talk. Many times she's talking real talk, so she knows what she's doing.
Bit raw sometimes, but she's talking real talk.
Of course, but life is about balance, you know.
Yeah. But this song in particular, as I've watched the video that she did, this one was completely different, I felt. And it was more about, I suppose, something that's going on within society. It was a bit more, I want to say rootsy, because roots is kind of about what's going on. And I felt that from Spice, and I was like, what? Okay, she's delivering something different. And then obviously people always do like different videos and posts and stuff, taking the mix sort of thing. And I was just like, wow, okay, she did something different. I'm liking this. I got to give it to her on that. But at the same time, I ain't gonna lie, she did fool me at the start. I thought, wow, she's gone really light. So I was like, wow. And then I suppose, why do you think she did it? Why do you think she shone the light on it? Do you think she went through an experience? What are you thinking?
I think my girls was tired. Tired of it, because, you know, I can only talk from a person who's manifested in this skin tone, you know?
Yeah.
I've experienced things. I could give you a few examples that have happened on my travels where people have gravitated towards me because I am light skinned.
Yeah.
You know, I had a man the other day approach me, and it's actually an area in Australia where there is a strong East African community, so Ethiopian and Eritrean. And it was a dark skinned brother, actually. I think he was maybe Sudanese, dark skin, beautiful skin, which I did tell him. So anyway, tried to, you know, shoot his shot. I'll just be real with you, you know.
Yeah, okay.
Tried to shoot his shot, and he said to me that I'm beautiful.
Okay.
So I said, give thanks. And then he said to me, your skin is beautiful.
Oh, okay.
So I said, you know, what do you mean by that? He said, it's light.
Oh, okay.
I said, but you know, all skin is beautiful, light, dark. He said, but I can see your features. This face is clear. I can see your features. Wow. Straight away, better just stop shooting his shot, you know, because to me, there is self-hatred. You must love the way you are first and foremost. and not, you know, revere others more than yourself.
Mm.
So I understand where the sister's coming from, only from the opposite end. Of course, I don't know what it's like to be in that skin, but I believe that however we are, we must believe that is the standard of beauty, not look to anyone else.
Definitely. Wow, for real right there. So, I suppose, with that, what do you think is next? I suppose is the next question, because obviously people are making joke from it. People are taking something from it, from what I've seen on posts and so on. But what do you think young people might take from it? Do you think it will be a positive or a negative? What are you thinking? Or both?
I think it all depends on... We have to be careful not to generalise the young people as well, you know, because, you know, how I was when I was younger is probably different to even my sister. When, you know, we all bring our own processing to different situations. But I think there are many young people out there that are smart enough to know that, okay, it might be seen as a parody, but they must find the truth in that parody. You know, and look to it if they need to do some healing on their own, because I see things on YouTube. I see this young brother approaching people in Birmingham and city centre asking, you know, which girls you like better, dark skin, light skin, and you see all these responses, and it's hurtful because often we're having these conversations, we're starting these conversations and creating the barriers ourselves. We even posing those questions. You know, what's the energy behind why we're posing those questions?
Definitely.
So hopefully the young people can use it to expand their own thinking.
So I'm going to play another one of your poems, and then we'll talk about it.
Alright.
Okay, here we go.
You can hold us back in the job market. Send the elders away with Windrush-ish. Moving our lives, moving our cultures.